This is Pucks in 7 with Ryan Paton and Victoria Matiash.
Okay, so if you do the math, and I said this yesterday on a program, you know the whole 30 days has September, April, June, and November. All the rest of 31, right? So that's how you figure out how many
on
days.
your knuckles, right?
Right, yeah.
January,
How many?
February, March, April.
Oh, see, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's a trick. Because then July and August come together, so you never forget which days, which months
See,
have 30 or
that's
31
why
days.
we're a 1A, 1B. That's why we mesh. I said one, you said the other. It all comes together perfectly.
This is a great opening. Let's get back to the 31 days.
Exactly. What are we doing? Yeah, we're not doing the months. But my point is we're a month away from the beginning of the Stanley Cup playoffs. It's going to be awesome. Last night, 14 games, every game except for the one. But there was something coming out of that game between Nashville and Anaheim, specifically with the Preds head coach. We'll dive into that in a second. Anyway, a lot of fun. Pucks in 7, Ryan Paton, Victoria Matiash. We will go to the East in a bit. We'll also talk to Tyson Nash, former NHL player. Anytime we get any former player on, I know we've had Brian Propp before, but that was a bit different because he was promoting his book, even though we talked to Propp about a lot of things concerning the league now and also back then. But this is awesome. I loved watching him play. He's doing a great job with Utah HC, so we'll talk to him
He's
about
a character too, eh?
He is.
Yeah,
no, he really is.
There's no lacking personality, so this is going to be a hoot.
I remember first coach, Joel Quenneville, said to him, whatever you do, just keep doing you on the ice. Go out and be that pest, be that person. He said, fine, I will. And he took that into his career, and he did well. Anyway, we'll get into that with Tyson, 77 seconds in with him as well. But let's begin with the West. So much to get into, Vic. Edmonton. There's not a good time to get injured. This is a tough time to get injured for any team. Stuart Skinner left last night's game. McDavid now has an injury. Leon did not play. Evander Kane back on the ice. Hopefully be ready to go by game 1 of the postseason, which, yes. But, boy, you lose those 3 guys right now, this is not the time.
Excuse me for 1 second. It's true. I was really pumped for the Winnipeg Oilers game because Leon Draisaitl was sitting at 49 goals, and 50 is obviously huge, and he's going to be the only player who hits 50 this year. So that was another good reason to watch that game between 2 heavyweights in the West, right?
Yeah.
And then you find out before the game he's not playing because he's day to day with an injury, and then you see McDavid go down, and then you see Skinner go down.
I didn't like that. I didn't like that check on McDavid.
By Josh Morrissey?
That's not needed.
Honestly, I didn't have any issue with it.
But that's when he got injured. It was kind of, he got him in the spot. I think. Again, it's been a while since I played, but say it's a spot between the pants and then the shoulder pads that kind of go down a little bit on the chest. So maybe he got him right in that one spot. Anyway.
But it's a hockey play that we see every single night over and over and over again. And 99 times out of 100, nothing bad comes from it. Yeah. It wasn't particularly vicious is my point.
Right.
I think we don't like it because he got hurt and he's the best player in the game, or at least top 3, whatever argument you want to make. But now it's interesting. Everybody seems to be in okay shape. If you listen to Knobloch after the game, he said he's not overly concerned about all 3 of them. So the spotter actually took Stuart Skinner out of the game.
Yes.
He wanted to continue playing. Knobloch was fine with him being out there. So that's a good sign. And I'm safety first, man. I'm good with the spotter taking him out. That's great. So, but it sounds like it might not be too bad. Draisaitl was day to day. McDavid doesn't sound like it's a big issue either. But is this not, you don't want to see anybody hurt, especially not superstars.
No.
Ryan, is this not an opportunity for the rest of this lineup to show up?
It is. 100%.
Okay.
100%.
That's the way that I figure it.
Yeah, and this is what they have to do. To do. Edmonton right now is in that second spot, and if things change, the more things change, the more things stay the same. They're going to take on LA another play. Got to be the blueprint for success at the beginning. Whatever we do through the 82, let's not face the LA Kings. Anyway, but the Kings have 2 games in hand, so that's key. But to your point, yes. And these aren't, again, with all due respect to second, third line, fourth line players. These are McDavid. This is Draisaitl. This is your number 1 goaltender. This, again, now really hammers home the point. I'm not using this injury or with Skinner. Hopefully he'll be back fine. But again, Calvin Pickard is my number 1 guy. I know I'm in the minority. You know why? I think Edmonton's fine because the Prime Minister skated yesterday. So everything's fine. Leon's out. If McDavid misses time, the PM's going to step in and play.
Is that what we're counting on? In the meanwhile, Ryan
Yes.
Nugent-Hopkins himself said it's time for others to step up because
Yeah.
they have got no depth scoring of late, except for that 1-7-1 blowout over Utah. There has been no depth scoring.
No.
So they need more balance from not the second, but from the third and the fourth lines. Here's an opportunity. The other good thing is the Edmonton Oilers only have one game in the next 5 days. So let's say rest all three for that one particular game. Now they're getting almost a week off. They can hopefully they're fully recovered after that, get back to business. And in the meanwhile, the rest of their teammates can go out there and get business done on their behalf.
Here's the intriguing thing, and then we'll move on to Vancouver, to your discussion when you just said about other players, Nugent Hopkins and others stepping up. Outside of Leon and McDavid, the team doesn't score pretty much, and that's been their
MO
for all season. So yes, this is a great chance for them to get on a bit of a roll, these guys on the second, third, fourth line, so that when McDavid does come back, when Leon comes back and Kane's back and ready to go, you can all be firing on all cylinders with game one of the postseason. It was a big game last night too. Every game was big except for one. Vancouver and St. Louis. Vancouver getting the point. That was big. Besser tying it very late in that game. But the overtime just kind of got away from them. I hate to say it, and I don't want to go back to any game because we still have a tiny bit of track left to go. But if there's that one point that you did not get that prevents you from getting into spring hockey, you don't want to look back to the game against the Blues.
Okay, but sunny side of the street, they weren't going to get any points until the final middle.
Fair enough.
Okay,
Fair enough.
the
Good
final
point.
minute
Good
of that
point.
game. What I liked from Vancouver, and goodness knows, you and I and a host of other people have knocked this team in recent months for just not playing up to snuff, not playing up to their skill and talent.
Well, it's been a complete soap opera all season. The whole season's been nuts.
Now all of a sudden, I mean, EP40 hasn't done much. Now he is. Brock Besser looks alive again.
Yeah.
Those two on the same line are getting something done. To watch the fight last night with them down and the clock winding down and to come back and actually tie it, it was a beauty shot by Besser as well.
It was great. Yeah, it was beautiful.
To watch them actually do that and pull it out of the fire is something we wouldn't have seen them do a month ago. I think that's the cause for optimism. Sure, you wanted 2 points against St. Louis, who you're going head to head with. Right, for that wild card spot. But I think there is a little bit of a consolation prize from just salvaging the 1 point instead of coming away with absolutely nothing. I like the fight they're showing right now. And the fact that Thatcher Demko is traveling with this team, I think that provides a boost. He's not back imminently at all. But the fact that he's traveling, that's got to provide a little bit of it provides a boost to the team as well emotionally.
Sure it does.
I think, right? So
they have the Rangers coming up, and the Devils, the Islanders, the Blue Jackets, and the Jets to end up the month of March. So the schedule is not easy. They have 13 games left to go, I believe, and right now they're 1 point out of the Blues for that second and final wild card spot in that very tight Western Conference as we again head to this final month of the season. Calgary Flames, Vic, I'm going to say it. Yes, let's go. Okay, go ahead. You take it.
I didn't see the end of this game. I missed all the good parts. And I root for the Flames a little bit. You know, even if they don't make the playoffs, a little bit.
I know.
Even if they don't make the playoffs, I want to see them play meaningful hockey down this stretch. I think for that young team that's up and coming, I think it'll do them a lot of good. Even if it comes down to the second or last game of the season, I think that's useful. And to see them getting steamrolled to start that game and fight back hard. It was really impressive to me, like super impressive, because I was done. I thought they had lost. I went to bed. And then I woke up in the morning and went, hey!
Somebody lit the flame. Somebody lit the flame under their you-know-what.
Ignited the flame. Yes, Brian.
What's most impressive for me this week? Then they have the Islanders. I'm going through the schedule. Vancouver is the Island. I think everyone plays the Islanders next month.
It feels like it, doesn't it?
What's most impressive this week again? You said that they came back and they fought back to win.
Yes,
they did not look good at all on Monday against Toronto. They lost 6-2. But then they come back and they face the Rangers in New York and they beat them 2-1. That was a gutsy win. That was a great response from being down 6-2 and losing 6-2. And then they come back and they win last night as well.
Against the Devils, we should mention.
Against the Devils. So Vancouver, yes, the fight that they showed, they got the 1 point. They weren't going to get it till Besser scored with 3+ to go. That is seconds. But the fact is that Calgary came back and they grabbed these 4 points in the last 2 games after being pasted back on Monday, 6-2. So we'll see. Going to be a lot of fun. Minnesota, I love you put that you put this in the lineup. And this is a team, and we've talked about different teams over this year, the other 2 years we've done this show. about teams that don't get enough credit or they're not getting spoken of as much and they're still very good. And those teams are fine with it. They're fine with the teams like the Vegas, and I'm talking about Minnesota.
They just go about winning games.
They go about winning games. Dallas, Colorado, Winnipeg, you guys can be the talk of the town, be the talk of the division. That's fine. We'll just keep on winning games. We'll pile up points, and then maybe by the time the 82nd game is come and gone, we'll be in that third spot. Mm-hmm. We'll be in the second spot in that division. The team just keeps on being consistent, and they're consistently good.
They are. And what I think is even more impressive about it, the fact that they just go about winning hockey games. Look at their injury report, Ryan.
Oh, it's kind of like Edmonton's and their key players.
But this has been for a while now.
Yeah.
They have been without Kirill Kaprizov.
Yep.
Joel Eriksson Ek.
Yep.
And their number one defenseman in Brodin for a significant period of time. You could say those are their top three players. I think you could absolutely make that argument outside of the crease for a while.
And now Rossi goes down.
Now Marco Rossi goes down. That's not great. Now you just lost another center. Ryan Hartman is going to have to actually, really pick it up. You've got Jonas Brodin. I should say, did I say Josh? No, I did say Jonas Brodin. Anyway,
yeah, JB for short.
Marcus Foligno is day to day.
Yeah.
They're so infirmed right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they have been for a while, and they still win hockey games. And I was listening to one of the number crunchers on another channel the other day, talking about how Gustafsson is not getting enough credit this season as well. So when you actually pour in all the analytics, it's not really my specialty. You're a little bit more into it than I am. He has been so good.
Yes.
And maybe the numbers don't show it on our stat sheets, but if you dig a little bit deeper, you realize how good he has been and also not getting enough credit. They were arguing that he should be in the Vezina conversation just because of the underlying numbers. So again, this team not getting enough credit, getting it done with so many injured bodies, and you're hoping you're going to get them all back for the postseason. Nobody's going to pick Minnesota to win in the first round. Very few people will, I believe.
Very few. Yeah, I agree.
Because you're looking at all the rest and how strong they are, right? So particularly if they go up against one of the division leaders or, Vegas or something like that, right? And they could be sneaky good just because they just go about the business of winning hockey games.
2.51 goals against average that's what Gustafsson has, which is not spectacular.
It's okay.
13th in the NHL. So 13th in the league at 2.51. That is pretty good.
It's good.
What I like about Vegas and the fact that I'm going to give even more credit to Gustafsson, and I'm glad you brought that up. If you look at their plus minus, this is a team with 83 points, and they're a number of points back, of course, of Colorado, but they have a game in hand for that third spot in that division. But their plus minus is not very good. It's -4. So they've scored 191. They've given up 195. So if you're almost at 500, then essentially you're playing almost a tie game every single game when you dive into all the details. And that puts more emphasis on what your goaltending has done over the course of this season, because you're not going to go out and win 7-1. That's not what this team does. That's not what they do. But they chip away. They'll give you the 1-goal games. They'll give you the 1-goal wins. And then they'll end up being in a contention for the playoffs, which is exactly what they're doing. I love it. I really do. Colorado. Can we just pat myself? Sorry, I'm just going to pat myself on the back. Everyone I've talked to this season, I picked, and I was absolutely in the very, 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 very minority with this. To begin the year, before they made all the changes, I had Colorado winning the Cup. Why? No idea. I just thought, heck, let's go for it. I'm really a believer in this team. The fight that they had, I love the fact that, again, tough game against Toronto the other night. Kelly Sutherland, of course, in the news for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah, he got an assist on that one.
He got an assist on that, yeah. I mean, he took one for the team, basically. I love Jared Bednar's comment after. He's like, I haven't really seen too much of that in the game, but bounces do kind of happen in the NHL. I thought he handled it great. Anyway, my point is, you come away with a game that probably a lot of people thought Colorado should have won.
Yes.
And then you do what you did the night after. That, to me, is a statement, and it makes everyone, again, on notice that this team is for real.
The fact that they came back the next night and steamrolled the competition on the road, as well, after traveling a little bit.
Travels travel.
It was very much a statement game. I will say this. I'm going to throw a little bit of cold water on your prediction for the beginning of the season.
Of course.
That's what I'm here for. This is the whole point.
Yay me. Yeah.
It's a different team now. I like them a lot better now. If you had told me that they were going to have a completely different goaltending tandem, which they do at the start of the season, if you had told me that they were going to strengthen themselves down the middle by adding Charlie Coyle and, more importantly, Brock Nelson, I would have been more on board, right? Yeah. But you still showed excellent foresight. And by the way, it's never dumb to pick a team that has Nathan McKinnon, Cale Makar on it.
No.
Okay.
No, it's not.
There's always intelligence to that. So I think they're right up there. I think they're up there within Winnipeg and Dallas and Vegas. And then I think there's a little bit of a tear down with Minnesota, just a little bit. I know we just, pumped their tires, but still.
No, I agree.
But of those four, honestly, I don't know.
No.
Right?
I had insight before the season began into what was going to happen with Colorado. I had insight that they would be changing their goalies. I had insight
Both
that
of
they
them,
would
though?
trade. Yeah, no, I had insight. Yeah.
Okay.
My sources said that they would trade Mikko Rantanen.
Not. Your sources had nothing of
it. Took you how long to finally pick up on that?
Right.
No, I'm with you. There's a lot of people now, though, that will probably say, hey, the Avalanche, watch out. But you're right. When you have a McKinnon, when you have a Makar, two of the best at what they do on the same team, you can never count this team out.
We're going to get Let's get to our wild card picks to wrap up. But first, you want to talk about Andrew Burnett and the Predators.
Yeah, so it's been a season which nobody expected. Yeah, to forget.
To forget for the Nashville Predators.
Well said. All the offseason additions and whatever. We don't have to get into that. So, last game that they played, it was last night. And Andrew Burnett basically was saying, look, the veterans on the team, the guys that are signed to long-term deals, the ones that are signed to lucrative contracts, they need to step up and they need to basically be good role models and have a good attitude going forward. He's questioning their attitude.
The leadership.
And I think that that's fine. I will say this. It is very tough, especially for somebody like a Steven Stamkos, also like a Jonathan Marchessault. All they've known is basically how to win. They've been on winning teams. They've been in winning formulas for most of their careers, especially Stamkos. When you have this type of season that they're going through from the get-go, it's tough mentally. I'm not knocking the team, but I will say when you're a veteran on that club, you need to go through the pains. And right now they're going through it. I have absolutely no issue with the head coach calling those specific players out.
Is he the head coach starting next season?
No, he's not.
No,
he's not.
I mean,
no.
So he's giving them
a bit of... He probably knows that, so hey, I'll say this.
He can say whatever he wants.
Yeah,
and
enough.
He's salvaging his reputation a little bit because Andrew Burnett enjoyed quite a deal of success with the Predators before this season. Yeah. So I'm sure he wants another job as well. And this is, I think, his message to the rest of the league that, hey, it's not me, it's them, right?
Right.
So, and I don't blame him for it at all.
No, I don't blame him.
And he also might be right. We've heard from insiders in Nashville that he's just not jiving with them either. It takes two to tango.
It takes two. It takes
and
two.
This
and
is not the fit. And I think basically the second that their season is over, it's done.
Yeah, no, he will. He will. Barry Trotz didn't do it already. I thought, and we've talked about this before on the show, I thought that he would have done it already based on the season, but he'll end the season and then he'll probably go. Wild card pick. Who do we have today? As again, this is Friday the 21st in the West. Who do you have?
For the final one, because the other one is pretty much wrapped up.
Yeah.
I love the Flames. Utah.
Yes.
No. I love the Flames. Utah is my dark horse.
Oh.
I can't dismiss what the Blues are doing right now.
Okay.
I just can't. I can't. Again,
it's a good time to win 4 in a row.
But they're just winning. They lose one and then they win another 3. And since the break, I don't know. It's just they've been a different hockey team since the break, and they've convinced me that they can compete. So right now, today, what is it?
Friday the 21st.
March 21st. Today I have the Blues in that second spot. You?
Okay. I'm going to go with the Flames, and you're shocked. I know.
I like that.
Hold on. I'm glad you're standing. Actually, maybe you should be sitting now. Go back to the sitting thing, not standing. The big reason is that they have 2 games in hand. Those are 4 points. I think that's going to be huge.
All right, so you're looking at the math. All right.
I'm looking at the math. Yeah. Carry the 1 at the 3, divide by 2. Last one. Again, we're up against the clock a little bit here. Next year's All-Star game. Yes, no? What do you think?
Okay.
Quick.
We're going to do this very quickly. It's happening. Long Island is hosting it.
Yeah.
There's some sort of festival going on, and it's a launch pad for the Olympics. Apparently, the players are flying right from New York to Milan.
Yeah.
Okay. There can't be a game. Have some sort of festival of sorts that there's meet and greets with players and you get stuff signed and there can be some skill competitions and it's more of a party atmosphere. Nobody wants to play in this game. After we've come off the Four Nations, you can't have an all-star game anymore. It's so watered down, Ryan. Nobody's going to get into it. The players aren't into it. And also you're just giving them that extra stuff they need to do. And a lot of these players are going to be heading overseas and they just don't need it. Have an event, name the all-star team, right? And just have it on a piece of paper that, hey, you were named to the all-star team, and leave it at that.
I said quick. Was that quick?
Sorry.
Mine's going to be quicker. I don't want to see the all-star game again, to be honest. And that's with all due respect. I just don't think it's needed. And yes, the Four Nations has a big
influence
impact on that decision. We'll take a break. We'll come back again. Tyson Nash later on. We'll go east. A lot of storylines, too, to get into, which will continue on Pucks and 7. Ryan Paton, Victoria Matiash.
Welcome back to Pucks and 7 with Ryan Paton and Victoria Matiash.
Okay, welcome back. Pucks and 7, Ryan Paton, Victoria Matiash. We went west. We're going to dive into more of the Western hockey team, one of them specifically Utah, in just a bit with Tyson Nash, former player, a current analyst on TV for Utah. We'll dive into that with him. It's going to be great to have him on. So that is in just probably 15 minutes from now, so stay tuned for that. Let's go into the East. A ton of storylines again coming into Friday, going into the weekend, coming out of Thursday night. We'll talk Montreal, Carolina Hurricanes. Who needs Yamiko? Obviously, they don't. Ovi getting closer to the great one. We'll go into that in a sec, too. But let's begin with the Rangers. They fall last night to the Toronto Maple Leafs by a score 4-3. The Leafs coming off a back-to-back, and they were up, and they looked very good. The Rangers did not. Your thoughts, and then I have a few on this as well.
You and I talked, along with Anthony Stewart, on the Power Play less than 24 hours ago exactly about this. And I think the three of us were on the same page that this was lowercase m must win for the New York Rangers.
Yeah.
Because they are in that heated battle that's really tough for a wild card spot in the East. They're facing a traveling Toronto team that had come off a hard-fought win the night before against Colorado.
Yep.
This is an easy situation. They're rolling out Shesterkin, one of the best goaltenders in the league. The Leafs are rolling out Anthony Stolarz, who's a great goaltender, but hasn't played that well of late. This was a perfect opportunity for them to pick up 2 points. Ryan, I watched this game. They were so bloody flat.
It's terrible.
They really were. They just didn't have the jump. I mean, they countered a little bit. They ended up losing the game. Spoiler alert. And they actually made it closer because Kreider scored with a few seconds left. But they were never in it.
Yeah.
So here's my Matiash proclamation. I have been on this team all season, even when they dipped.
I have not. You and I have been completely opposites with this thing. Yes.
Yes. And I have maintained forever, all season long, that they were going to be good enough because on paper, they're just too good. They're just too skilled a hockey team.
Yeah.
On paper, they're just too good. And I'm telling you, today, March 21st, I'm raising the white flag. And it is based on what I watched last night. So I will say, maybe they might surprise us, but I am no longer a believer. I will now be surprised if they get in, whereas before I would have been surprised if they didn't.
That's one of the joys of doing what we do, is that we can make our predictions, and they may come back to bite us, and they may not.
Right.
I'm still staying and maintaining the whole thing. I've not had any confidence in this team. The only reason why they're in a sniff at the moment is because of their goaltender, Igor Shesterkin. You look at all the goals, I think most of them last night, and the attention to detail was terrible. You said that they were flat. They were very flat.
Lackluster effort, disorganized.
A lot of mistakes that they made that you do not make at that level. You don't do it. You're
not
taught
when
those
you need to win that game.
Not when you need to win. And so, look at Shesterkin. At least on 2 of them, he kind of looks up and thinks, I had no chance on that. What's going on? There was one face-off specifically. The Leafs had a chance. It was a Matthews one-time shot that Shesterkin made a great save. But I forget who took the draw, but Shesterkin went right to the center and said when the whistle went, whatever he said to him, he went right up to him, and he was probably saying, hey, you can't do that. That was your man, kind of thing. So he is left out to dry, and this is not the time to do that. So, they're not doing it. If they do, I'll be completely shocked.
With a team with Artemi Panarin, Mika Zibanejad, Chris Kreider,
Trocheck.
Adam Fox, Vinny Trocheck. It boggles me. And there's going to be a shake-up in the Big Apple after this season.
No,
if they don't make it, which it doesn't look like they're going to. So anyway, there's my admission. I'm off the wagon.
Are you on the New York Islanders
No.
wagon if you're off the wagon? Why not? They keep winning. They're hanging around. It's like that friend that doesn't go away.
It is. And we've also seen this we need to learn. Okay.
What? What do we
All
have
of
to
us.
learn?
And I don't mean the collective you and I mean the collective hockey punditry community.
Learn
Need to
what?
learn that you can never count them out until they're mathematically eliminated.
Uh-huh.
Because we've seen this story before. You and I, everybody talked 2-3 weeks ago. Okay, Islanders are out of it. We can say the Islanders are out of it with Pittsburgh and the Flyers and whoever else in the East. And now they're, where are they, Ryan, today?
2 points back of a final wild card spot in the East.
And they traded their best center.
Uh-huh.
Matt Barzal isn't playing.
Yeah.
If you look at their roster, a casual hockey fan would be, who's that? Who's that? Who's that? Who's that? Who's that?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, Bo Horvat, we know. We know Sorokin. You and I obviously are familiar with the team, but I'm just saying, a casual fan on the street.
Who had 2 assists last night? Sorokin did. He had 2 assists.
Did he really?
2 assists. 38 saves and 2 assists. What goaltender has 2 assists in a hockey game? Sorokin does.
At least
or maybe
last
Horvat
night.
did. Anyway, one of the two. It doesn't matter.
If you're
Yes.
the way that, just looking at the competition right now, the Blue Jackets are still in the mix, and I hope they stay that way. Ottawa Senators are playing well. Last night, one glaring exception against Colorado. Montreal Canadiens are playing out of their minds. We're going to get to them in a minute. Just looking at everybody else in there. So, I mean, I don't have them in a wild card spot, which means, of course, they're going to clinch the second. Of course, they're going to clinch the second one, Ryan. Like, what are we even thinking?
No, they're not. Hey, they have.
Why are we being so goofy?
No, I don't think they're going to. I think
when push comes to shove, the absence of depth and skill on that team. There's some good hockey players on that team. There are very few great ones. That's the problem.
You know what's interesting? Maybe Andrew Brunette saw that last night's game that the Islanders did win, and he saw Sorokin's sheet, 41 shots against, 3 goals against, 38 saves, and 2 assists. Maybe he went down the list of his veterans and thought, wow, when a goaltender is outpointing us tonight, you have some issues. Islanders 2 points back of the Canadiens. They have 2 games in hand, and the Canadiens do, and throw in Ottawa on the Rangers. So the Rangers certainly behind the 8 ball when it comes to games in hand. Even the Jackets have 2 games in hand on them going down the stretch. Montreal, quickly, you talked a little bit about them. I'm a believer with them. I said this too yesterday in the show that you were on with Anthony Stewart and I, that I love the story that they're creating. Even if the end chapter ends at the end of the season, doesn't go into chapter whatever with the postseason.
It's a win.
The development of the group under Martin St. Louis, guys like Suzuki, guys like Caulfield, Lane Hudson, who I have Lane Hudson in my mind like a Nate McKinnon. I just think he's just an absolutely phenomenal player. But I really think that the strides they're taking, Vic, even if they don't make it in, you can't put a price on that.
I'm going to say exactly what I said to you yesterday. They're playing with house money. They have nothing to lose. They weren't expected to be there. Maybe in their own dressing room, you always feel differently because it's your own team. But I'm just saying in general, they're aware of the perception as well. They weren't expected to be there. They are playing with house money. That top line has been bananas.
Dynamite. Yeah.
And that's a great sign. I love the fact that Slafkovsky out of the break came out and said, I need to be better. I'm going to be better. And he has been better. And he's still a young man. And that show of maturity, you and I have talked about this. I think that's very telling. And now they're getting...
And he's got that hefty contract, right? That he signed.
But the fact he wants to live up to it, right? And now you're getting a little bit more. Josh Anderson was great the other night. Now you're getting a little bit of contribution from some other players on that team. You need a little bit more from Line, but he's kicking it up a notch a little bit. There's other players that are contributing. The defense has been good, and that's not something we usually talk about with the Canadiens because they're still developing and young. They don't need to make the playoffs. Maybe they do, but they don't need to. To your point, they still need some pieces. Management knows that. They're going to be busy in the summer, but now they don't have to completely disrupt the apple cart anymore, right? It's now plugging in as opposed to any type of rebuild because they're obviously moving in the right direction.
Yeah, and I'd love to see any coach do well in any league, in any sport. I'd love to see a former player who is now a coach, specifically Martin St. Louis, in the NHL for Montreal. I've been pulling for him. I have. I think he's a great fit for that team. I really do. And
seems to be, yeah.
Yeah, and every young kid on that club is learning so much from somebody who really played well. Everybody knows the career that St. Louis had. Let's dive into Carolina. They've won 8 straight games for the second time this season. Was there a time that they had Mikko Rantanen on their team? I don't quite.
Doesn't matter, does it?
Right. Who? Come on. That's third time in the past 15 years that the team's done it 8 straight times, at least twice. And how about this one? What's even more impressive is they've allowed 2 goals or less in each of these 8 games. Defensively, they're playing well. In goal, they're playing great. Who needs you, Mikko? It's been I'm shocked. I am. I did not see this happen.
Well, I did more than you did.
Of course you did. Yes, I know you did. I know you did. Yeah.
So give me my Rangers loss and give me my Hurricanes win.
Right. Fair enough.
I think this just goes to show that all the rest of us made a lot more of the soap opera than the players themselves.
100%.
Right?
Fully agree. Yeah.
So I think there of course was a little bit of a distraction at the time when he's on the team and everybody's talking about it. The second that he left, it
was over.
Haven't stopped winning.
Right? Yeah.
They play the Brind'Amour system. Everybody is on board. Goaltending, like you mentioned, has been outstanding. Everybody contributes just enough, right? And they're tough to play against. A little boring to play against as well, but they're tough to play against. And I'm sorry, 8 straight. You can't argue with 8 straight. There were people talking about them not falling out of a playoff position, but falling out of a divisional spot and falling into a wild card after all this happens. Yeah. And that's not happening now. Right. And you and I have both said this over and over and over again. I'm going to say it one last time. They did not lose Mikko Rantanen. They lost Marty Necas.
They did.
Okay?
Yeah.
Because Mikko Rantanen was never a part of this club. Not for any significant period of time.
I guarantee you this, you're going to say that at least one more time.
Probably.
Because I think you said maybe the last one.
I'll give you the over on that one.
This is the last time I'm going to say it. I do it too. And then the next week I say the same thing. It's been awesome. It's been fun. And watch out. You don't want to face the Carolina Hurricanes right now. You do not if the postseason began tonight. How about this? It's been an amazing turnaround for Washington. Remember last season when they made the playoffs at a -37? Now I think they're plus 904, something like that. They became the first team since 1979, 1980 to go from being the last one to clinch a playoff spot in one season to the first one to do so in the next. It's unbelievable. Ovi gets another goal. He's getting closer now. Let's get April 12th. Vic's going to Columbus. Come on, Ovi, let's do it. Do it on April 12th. The story just continues to be an incredible one. I love it. Well,
he's 7 short now.
Yeah.
I'm breaking the record, not
13 to go.
Record.
13 to go.
But if you're I was looking at the schedule, obviously. I think we're all looking at schedules every day now.
Every day.
Coming up for the Capitals, Panthers, so that's Bobrovsky.
Mm-hmm.
Jets, Hellebuck. Wild, what were we talking about, Gustafsson earlier?
Yeah.
So the next 3 are going to be a little tougher for Ovi to at least fill the net. I'm not saying he's not going to get one, but it's going to be a little bit more difficult if you're just looking at the strength of goaltending opposition. Yeah. After that, I'm not going to knock these teams. People can look it up themselves. It gets a lot easier. So we'll see what happens in the next 3. But I still have the 12th circled on my calendar. I've got the weekend off. My friend is expecting me. So if he's in position to tie or break it, I'm going to be on the road.
So I will say this, that according to the very detailed, in-depth statistics, this season he owns a goals per game rate of 0.66. Mm-hmm. His career average is 0.6. The 0.66 this season puts him on pace. You're not going to like this.
For the 13th, isn't
it?
For
the 13th.
Yeah, the next day. Back home against Columbus.
To pass.
Hey,
to pass
one hat trick, Ryan.
Right.
We're talking a whole different story.
Okay? I know, and that's what he does. The best, purest goal scorer the game has ever seen, and the game will ever see. We're not going to see anybody like this again. We're not. But just as we thought Gretzky's record would never be broken, who knows where we're going to see.
Yeah, I'm careful with that language.
Yeah, no, I know. We mentioned the Leafs last night. They win 4-3. Again, they're in a battle between with them and Florida and Tampa, at least for now, because we know Ottawa's doing decently, and other teams too may creep in. I doubt it, but we'll see. For those 1, 2, 3 spots in that Atlantic division, you put down here just leave McMahon. That's Bobby on that second line for Toronto. Completely agree.
I don't want to see Kelly Yarncroc play there anymore.
No,
I don't want to see
no.
Pontus Holmberg play there anymore.
Domi, Robertson, and McMahon.
Well, no. I want McMahon up.
Oh, you want McMahon up? You don't.
Yes.
Yeah, the Domi, Robertson, McMahon. Those three create magic together.
I think McMahon is also very good on that second line.
Yeah, fair enough.
That's
yeah.
And he was effective last night as well.
Right.
So unless they find another viable substitute alongside John Tavares, I'd like to see Bobby McMahon. And I get what you're saying. I started to fall in love with that third line a little bit too, but
yeah.
I'd rather have the more effective second line and make the third line work with Robertson and Domi and figure it out from there.
Yeah.
I also think we're going to see Scott Lawton as third line center by the time the playoffs roll around. I know it's taking him some time to develop some chemistry with the team. That's to be expected, but the Leafs did not trade for Scott Lawton to put him on the fourth line. They did not.
Yeah. So last one again, Tyson Nash is going to join us as well.
Really soon.
Yeah, Sabres TV analyst Rob Ray was saying toward the end of that game last night, there was a delayed penalty between Buffalo and Utah, and a delayed penalty coming up on Utah. So all the Sabres had to do was to get Utah to touch the puck. Rob Ray is yelling, give them the puck, give them the puck, give them the puck. It doesn't happen that way. Buffalo ends up scoring into their own net because they pulled the goalie for the extra attacker. Again, you put down in the lineup. That sums up Buffalo's season.
Tage Thompson scored on himself to end the hockey game.
Man.
And he deserves better because he's somebody who's actually accomplished something with that team, even though they haven't managed to win. Just one of the more disappointing teams in the East. I don't think there's any question of that. And to watch them score on themselves by making pretty much a boneheaded play. It is, even I know, give it to the guy, and then now you have a power play. Yeah. And failing to do that, I thought that pretty much wrapped up the Sabres season in a nutshell.
Oh, it did. And the not the blueprint, but the season, every season for the last however many has been Buffalo gets off to a not bad start, and then they fall back down to earth, and then they give fans a little bit of hope.
Surge at the end.
There's no hope. There's no hope here. Again, I go back to that the Kevin Adams has to do a major move. Don't know what it is. Don't know who it's going to be. But they can't keep doing like this.
I'm sorry for Sabres fans. They deserve better.
Yes, agreed. And all the fan bases, you want all 32 to be happy with their clubs, but
they're
this is
hungry, man.
Yeah. Okay, we'll take a break. We'll come back. Tyson Nash, former player, current Utah Hockey Club analyst. He'll join us, and we'll talk all things puck and go 77 seconds in with Tyson as well. Pucks in 7, Ryan Paton, Victoria Matiash, Tyson Nash is coming.
Welcome back to Pucks in 7 with Ryan Paton and Victoria Matiash.
Always great to have any former NHL player on, and more, even greater to have somebody who is still in the business and working TV, and that's who we have right now. Former player Tyson Nash joining us here in the program, TV analyst, Utah HC. Tyson, good to have you on. We appreciate the time today.
Who canceled is all I want to know. I mean, it's kind of like that golf foursome, right? All of a sudden, half an hour before tea time, it's like, hey, can you come golfing? I'm like, oh yeah, who canceled?
That's the list. I went through all that. You're right at the bottom.
You were the top of it. You were the top of it. So
hey,
we wanted to have you on, and we were gonna ask you, and then it was Utah got pumped by Edmonton. I was like,
maybe not the right time.
After that, but we thought that we'd take the swing anyways, and you can tell us to go away if you want.
No,
we're very glad you didn't.
The beauty of that, you guys, as you know, when you're in broadcasting, you don't wear the wins and losses like you used to as a player. So win or lose, you hit the booze was my my saying.
I can understand that.
We got a lot to get into with you. Let's just get going. The first year in Utah, how's it been?
It's been unbelievable, like literally unbelievable. You honestly can't put into words what happened. Obviously, it was very shocking to all of us. I was part of Arizona, the Coyotes, the Phoenix Coyotes for a long, long time. And it felt like it happened literally overnight. Our last broadcast in Arizona, we're basically saying goodbye. We're signing off the air. Nobody really knew what was going to happen. No one knew anything about Ryan and Ashley Smith, the owners of the Utah Hockey Club. But thank God it has all come together better than anyone could have dreamt, imagined, or hoped for. And it starts with leadership, obviously. And it starts with Gary Bettman. I actually have a show here in Utah, and we had both Ryan Smith, the owner, and Gary on the show last night. It was like a reunion, right? And they kind of talked about the deal and how it all came into play, and the trust that needed to be there for a business deal of this magnitude. And it's just been fascinating, from the fans, the support, the players, how much they're loving it here. I mean, they were playing in front of 5,000 people, right, at the end in Arizona. So you knew something was going to give, and you were just hoping the next play by Gary was going to be a good one. And it's been the best one you could ever imagine. Ryan and Ashley Smith are the best owners in the entire National Hockey League.
They seem incredible. They really do.
How they treat everybody, the money they want to spend, the fact that they want to win. I mean, that is new and refreshing, right? So it's been really exciting.
That's really good to hear, because we know that you were very heartbroken when this first went down, and you certainly weren't alone. People connected to the team, and it was obviously, like you said, happened in a minute, a jarring situation, but this does really feel like the best outcome. The rest of the league has been watching this team closely and maybe rooting them on a little bit too, even if we're in different markets, just because of the circumstances. And now there's stability, right?
Stability, and that's the big one. And I asked Gary last night on my show. I was like, as good and as electrifying for the city, and all that hockey has brought Salt Lake and Utah, I think equally Utah has brought the NHL and the owners and just the stability, like you're talking about. They don't go to the board of governors meetings, and they're not, all over Gary. Like, what are you going to do with this mess in Arizona?
Right,
the mess has now been cleaned up. As sad as that has been, and as hard as that has been for all of us to adjust and hear that, because we spent, 28 years in Arizona. That's a long time. And for me, I was there, I think, 21, 22 of those. And the grassroots, growing the game in the Valley, and all of those things that you took great pride in. I mean, look at all the players we're pumping out of Scottsdale and Arizona right now that are playing in the National Hockey League. It is unbelievable. And that's now changed, and that's now hopefully, and we start all over here in Utah somewhat. Hockey, there's a long history here in Utah of hockey. I think people forget about that. But now we're going to start all over and growing the game at the youngest ages.
Sounds good.
Preseason expectations that you had of this team and where they're at right now. I know they're a number of points back out of a playoff spot, but the fact is they're still in the conversation. Ain't over till it's over, right? That's the discussion. But preseason expectations that you had, and what are the expectations now? Is it going to be such a significant thing if Utah gets in, or is it fine if they don't, just based on how well they've done this year?
It would be significant to the nth degree, just because of what this team has gone through, right? From off the ice to on the ice, all the change for these players. And that's what people forget. These players are still humans, right? They have families, they have kids, like that all plays into it. Basically, 23 guys got traded, right? In April to a new city. You're picking up, you're selling houses, you got moving companies. And then you get here and you have to readjust to everything, find new schools. And no one's really kind of played here, at least at the National Hockey League level, right? So you're trying to find a real estate agent, a school for your kid, a private school, like babysitters, restaurants, like a lot going on, right? And the players adapted immediately. It helped that there was a summer to do that. But again, it comes down to Ryan and Ashley Smith making that transition as seamless as possible. And having the right people in the business, in the organization, that have been asked to do double duty, because they're all working for the Jazz, the basketball team that he also owns. Now they're doing double duty, and they're doing the Utah Hockey Club, and they've done it with the same energy and same passion. But if this team makes the playoffs, that would be remarkable. They are the second youngest team in the National Hockey League. There are still a lot of familiarity with the teams that I've seen in the past in Arizona. They need growth. They're still missing key pieces. They still need a number one centerman, right? As good as Clayton Keller and Nick Schmaltz are, you need a center iceman, a big center iceman to carry that big load if you're playing teams like Edmonton, Colorado, Vegas, the big boys of the league. They played Toronto the other day. It was evident they're missing pieces, but man, they've come a long way.
What do they have to do now, today, March 21st, between now and the next 30 days? What did they have to do to squeak in, to claw their way into that second wild card spot in the West?
Well, and as a former player, you play all year, right? And that was the talk at the start of the season. If they're playing meaningful games at the end of March and into April, that is a massive success, right?
Okay.
That hasn't been the case. I think they're like 18 points better than they were last year at this time, which that's a big step. That's a big step, right? And some of the moves that Bill Armstrong made were significant ones. You get Sergachev, you get Dursey healthy. That you need a healthy back end. You need a solid back end. That's everything. Goaltending. They locked that up with Pamelka now being the number one guy. But just overall, I think that this team, has to be consistent in how they play. Now is when if you're Bill Armstrong and Andre Tourigny, this is when you really evaluate your team and your players, because this is crunch time, right?
Yeah.
I've seen this group before when they're out of the playoffs and they catch fire in the last 10 games of the season. I'm like, that is garbage. I don't even want to hear it. I don't even want to talk about it because it's smoke and mirrors. It means
you don't
nothing
need it.
unless you can do it right now. And they got spanked the other night, as you guys touched on, by the Edmonton Oilers. Absolutely drummed. But I think that was a good thing because it's also a reset, right? And it's like, okay, we embarrassed ourselves. That's not Utah hockey. Let's get back on the wagon and let's take it to the Buffalo Sabres, which they did. And now they're back into the fight.
You mentioned the Sergachev, the addition of him. I'm a big fan of his. You talked about Clayton Keller. Some of the more underrated Utah hockey players that you have seen this season, that maybe some of the other ones like us who don't watch every single game of Utah, that we may be missing.
Who are we not talking about and shit?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Kesselring on the back end, what a find he was. Bill Armstrong, I think, traded Nick Bjugstad to the Oilers. They get Kesselring the other way, right? And he was a draft pick for the Edmonton Oilers. Boy, could they use Kesselring on their back end. But then we also get Bjugstad back in the deal, right? So it was like an unbelievable deal. He's a young, massive defenseman. He's got a big reach, a good stick, a bomb from the point. I think we're just kind of scratching the surface with this kid, how good he can actually be. So he's certainly a guy. I didn't know a lot about Cole. I still find massive value in players like that. If this team is going to take the next step, you need Luke Schens. You need Ian Coles. You need those type of players. They make you win. We had Luke Schenn years and years ago, and everyone's like, he's done. He's done. He can't play anymore. Well, 8 or 10 years later, he's winning Stanley Cups and he's signing contracts. I'm like, no, you still need those pillars, right? Those redwood trees on your blue line. So he's been a really nice surprise for me. And then up front, we never talk about the young kids. I look at a team like Toronto and it reminds me of, the Mariners, the Nylanders back in the day when they were young kids. Well, we have that in Josh Doan, Dylan Gunther, who really got paid this summer and rightfully so. I think that contract's going to look like a real bargain in the next couple of years. This guy's going to be a 40 goal scorer in the league, maybe higher. Logan Cooley might be the best of them all. And I'm talking Clayton Keller as well. This kid is a superstar in the making. The way he skates, the way he battles, the way he works, and he's learning every day to be more of a 200. I know it's very cliche, but a 200-foot player. Maybe he's about 165 feet right now. So he's got some work to do. But it's been really fun to watch. And this team, I should say, is in a real good spot.
And Logan Cooley's still only a sophomore, so he's going to be that. By the way, Like cliches are good because they're usually correct, and that's the way that it works.
I was wetting the bed at 20. I don't know what you guys were doing at 20, but
not much to be proud of. How about we just put it that way?
Well,
this guy's
certainly
making
not
millions playing in the NHL.
We don't talk about those days. All
No,
right.
we don't. We're going to move on to 77 seconds with you, which isn't exactly 70 seconds, but it's a bit of a fun bit that we do. But I want to ask you something a little bit more personal related to the game. You were one of the greatest agitators to ever play. You were a pest. That was your role. How do you think that role has changed, and how would it be different today than when you were in your prime?
Oh man, you know what's funny? On my show last night again, I had Brad May, and then I had Matthew Barnaby come crashing in to bust chops and all the stuff we only miss about playing, right? The locker room, just giving it to guys. And it was funny because like today, I can't even imagine playing today. Like Brad May would be like the heavyweight in the league today, right? And back in my day, he was a middleweight. Matthew Barnaby fought everyone and anyone that was willing to fight. I don't know how many times he fought Ty Domi, and way above his weight class. But like he would be a massively tough guy. Like I just think we would be that much more effective. You look at Brady Tkachuk and Matthew Tkachuk, right? I'm like, these guys are considered really tough in the league, which they are. But how tough would they have been back in our day, right? Like it just wouldn't have happened. So I would love to play in today's game. I'm not sure I could keep up in today's game because these players are so highly skilled. So there's give and take, right? It's like we were way tougher back in the day. I literally wet my pants before every single game because I'm like, and it wasn't just one or two guys. It's, Steve Ott, Dan Heinout, Sean Avery, it's Matthew Barnaby. It's, like when I played with St. Louis, they used to call it the race for Chase because no one wanted to fight Tony Twist. So they would race to fight, Kelly Chase. And, I did my job tonight. I fought Chaser. And Chaser probably beat the absolute bag off of them, but it was usually the wrong door. But and then if it wasn't Chase, everyone wanted a piece of me, right? That was an easy 5 minutes. But today it's like I'm looking at the lineups. I'm like, who even chirps? Who's gonna stir something up tonight? Like it just it doesn't happen. But the game is also so much entertaining on, another different level, right? I think the game is in a very good position, but I do miss the Esa Tikkanens, the Kenny Linsmans, the Matthew Barnabys. I think there was so much fun to watch.
Game's changed. Always love those names too. You just brought me back to when I can speak for Vic too, when we were used to watch those games all those years ago.
Was terrifying.
Oh yeah, terrifying.
No,
absolutely terrifying.
Ask Gretz about him. Oh.
Yeah. Let's do 77 seconds now with you, Tyson, where we ask you 7 questions and take as much time as you want, but hopefully a little bit less,
less than normal. It used to be a timed bit, and it never worked out. So we're just sticking with the name.
We'll keep it as tight as we can. What the GM meeting's just wrapped up. What NHL rule procedure would you like to see changed?
Anything.
Oh man. You know what I hate? I hate in overtime when it's 3-on-3 and there's a power play and it goes to 4-on-3.
Okay.
I hate it. It should be 3-on-2.
Oh wow, you go in a different direction for me.
Okay.
Straightforward. Who wins the cup this year?
Edmonton.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a new one. We're getting a lot of Dallas lately.
Yeah, a lot of Dallas.
Yeah.
Utah's team name next year, if you can expand or no.
Oof. Your guess is as good as mine. I wanted Yetis so bad. In fact, can't you just add an S to the end of it and have Yetis? Like, just switch it up a little bit. I have no clue. I know they have some good options in the the Outliers and the Mammoth. I'm guessing it's probably Mammoth.
Okay.
All right, that's the one that I'm rooting for. What was your worst? You've had many successful ones. What was your worst fight in the NHL when somebody just pounded the stuffing out of you? You still think about it?
Oh man. Well, the reason I made the St. Louis Blues is because I took the biggest beating of my life after knocking, God rest his soul, Pavel Dimitra out on the ice. They scraped him off with a shovel. But I ended up fighting Chaser immediately after that because Bob Plager wouldn't let me off the ice. So he sent me back out there, and it was actually the reason I made the St. Louis Blues was fighting Chaser. That took a lot of courage, obviously. But I think the other one was Steve Thomas. I'll never forget. I had no idea what his nickname was, and he challenged me. I'm like, yeah, I always wanted to beat up my dad. Like he was like 40 at the time. And he gave me a beating, and we still laugh about it today. I think my nose was on the side of my face. My eye was shut, and I'm trying to pick up my gloves and skate to the locker room. I was so embarrassed. But then I later found out Jamal Mayers was like, dude, what are you doing? You're an idiot. Don't you have the history of the game? The guy was so tough.
Yeah. Oh, love it.
I love
one of the
story.
toughest stories.
I've heard that one before. I love that story.
What's the best part about your job? What do you like the most?
Well, when I did the games between the benches, I felt like I was playing again.
Sure.
The lights come on. Not much gives me that adrenaline rush, but that really kind of, gave it to me. And I think now that, Ryan Smith has given me this show, it's not what I'm good at. My least favorite part about broadcasting was interviewing people, and now that's all I do. Right. It's been a big adjustment, a big stretch, but I think it's so good for us to kind of do that. Right.
We'll wrap. I think you're fine at it, by the way. We'll wrap up with this one. Big hip fan. Top three tragically hip songs of all time.
Oh, I can't even.
I was going to say one.
I can't
come
even
up with three great ones.
I can't even. They're all insane. It would be a disservice.
Well, the right answer is Wheat Kings, so we can start there.
Yeah.
Okay. Then it's Grace 2.
And you know what's funny? The craziest part is Ray Whitney's a good buddy of mine. We were playing this around the fire at his house the other night, like just on repeat, one after another on shuffle. He had no idea. I'm like, oh my God, he's like, this music is unbelievable. And I'm like,
come on.
Are they talking about hockey? I'm like, oh my God, Ray, like, don't ever say this out loud again. Because this is the most amazing stuff on the planet. So yeah, so sad though, but amazing.
Yeah. Yes, it is. But we got the music. Nautical Disaster, incredibly underrated as far as I'm concerned.
You spend the whole show doing this.
Yeah,
that was the.
I could do a whole show.
That was the end of Ray's and Tyson's relationship after that night recently. You don't know them? Get out of here. We're done. Tyson, we're out of time. Thanks for this. Really appreciate it. And I can speak on behalf of Vic. You're great at what you do. We love watching you play. We love watching you now.
I want to have you back on. Will you come back on with us?
Love it. Anytime, you guys. Anytime.
All right. I'd like to do this again. A little more time. Thanks for doing it.
This has been Pucks in 7. Available on the SiriusXM app and wherever you get your podcasts.